Hi there, this is Miss Caitlin from Febo Kids Art Academy, and I'm here to tell you that we are starting our December daily draw. So this is going to be a daily draw series, and each day of December we are going to be creating a picture inspired by Christmas and all things winter. So today we are starting off with day number 1, and we are going to be drawing a really adorable candy cane. We're going to dress it up with a little bow and maybe add some shine and sparkles and any other designs that you want to add in. Now, for this daily draw today, you're just going to need a piece of paper. I'm going to be using markers primarily, so if you're looking for a medium that I'm using, it's just going to be markers today. I want you to go ahead and grab a pencil, so that way you can go ahead and begin the drawing with me. So for your drawing, again, just grab a piece of paper, grab a pencil. You're going to see me draw with a Sharpie. That's just so that you can see my pencil lines. Now, because it's day number 1, we need to start off with our number in a little box up here at the top. So go ahead and take your pencil. Again, I'm taking my Sharpie, and you can draw in a box for your number. Now, you can feel free to make this as creative and fancy as you like. You could turn the borders of the box into candy canes as well. I think that'd be pretty fun. Or you could just make it really fancy with lots of flourishes. So on the inside, let's draw the number 1 for the 1st of December. You can also make your numbers fancy. I'm just going to go kind of the simple route today and maybe just make that side a little bit thick for the 1. Now for the candy canes, they kind of look like the bottoms of umbrella hooks, or they look like an upside down letter J. So for our candy cane today, I'm going to actually have us start at the top of the candy cane. We'll begin with the sort of hook on the top here. I think that's going to be the easiest for us to kind of draw first. So what I want you to do is draw first a U shape. We're going to be drawing it slanted today. Then I want you to draw a curved line. You almost want to pretend like you're about to draw a circle, but before you start curving back around, you stop. Then we're going to go to the other side here and do the same thing, but this time we want it to be big. Now the thing with candy canes is that they're the same width all the way around, so I really want you to start from here and see if you can get the same width all the way around. So again, just kind of keeping track of yourself. If you have to go back and erase and just try again, that is a-okay. And then we have the hook of the candy cane. Now this is the part that maybe you could hang off the side of a mug and you can like dip the candy cane in hot chocolate. Maybe you like to hang these on trees, and so this is the part where you could like hook it onto a tree branch for your Christmas tree. All right, now we're gonna draw the easiest part, which is just the straight line down, kind of the part of the candy cane that is long. So let's go ahead and begin from our lines. Draw one really long line down and another really long line down. Then connect with a U shape. Now try your best again to keep all of this the same width. So you want it to have the same thickness. If you need to kind of pause the video and adjust, totally fine. Take the time to do that. Now let's go ahead and dress this candy cane up with a ribbon. So we're gonna put a little bow right down here. So take your pencil and you can draw a circle right here to begin. This is where the knot of the bow is. Now you can take your eraser. I can't do this with an eraser because I drew this in Sharpie, but you can take your eraser and erase any little parts of that tall part of the candy cane that are going through it. For me, I know it's a little tricky to see, but there's a part right here and right here that I would erase if I was using a pencil. So just keep on the lookout for that. Then we're gonna draw the parts of the bow that are coming out, the parts that are tied. So for these, I want you to go first on the left side of the circle. You're going to draw a diagonal line out and a diagonal line out. If you want to make it a little bit more fancy, you can make these curved slanted lines. Do the same thing on the other side. And then you are going to connect with a curved line. All right. As well, when you have a bow, sometimes depending on the thickness of the ribbon or the thickness of whatever material it is that you're tying it with, sometimes you'll see like a little fold or a little crease right about here. So take your pencil and just draw a sideways letter J and a sideways letter J. All right, then, of course, when you tie a bow, there are little parts that usually come down from the bottom, the extra ribbon. So I want you to go underneath your bow on the left side and draw 2 curved lines out, and then connect with a curved line. And then, hey, what's this? We don't need that line there anymore. Our ribbon is not see-through. So you can take your eraser and erase this line here. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So draw 2 curved lines out underneath your bow, then connect with a curved line, and erase any part of that candy cane that is going through the ribbon. We don't need it anymore. All right, now we have the stripes. So for the stripes of the candy cane, remember our candy cane is kind of, it's rounded all the way. So our stripes are not going to just be perfectly straight. We're actually going to have to make them curved. So let's start right about here. Let's draw right here on the candy cane a curved line kind of up like that. Then as we move around, you're going to draw another curved line. Now this part's going to be a little tricky because again, it's kind of shifting in the way that the curves are going. So now what I want you to do is I want you to, instead of drawing almost like a C-shaped curved line, I want you to draw a backward C, like that. Do you see the difference between those 2 curved lines? Now we're going to stick to these backward C-shaped curved lines as we move down and make some space for our stripes. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4 more lines. Now the stripes, they might be a little tricky to see right now and kind of thinking about, well, which ones are going to be red and which ones are going to be white. That'll be a little bit easier to figure out once we start coloring it. But what you can do now is think about what kind of design you'd like in your background. Now, this is just supposed to be a quick and easy daily draw, so you don't need to go and make lots and lots and lots of detail or add an entire background, but maybe just think of something simple. I'm going to stick to what we did for our example. So I'm going to make little kind of stars or little sparkles. To do that, I just do a curved line up, curved line down, do curved line down, curved line down to make a star like that. Again, you can add in swirls. You can add in other things too if you'd like. You could add peppermints for a really, really minty picture today. And there we have it. So once you have everything all drawn out, it is time to start coloring. Now we colored our candy cane in kind of a special way today. I didn't outline it in Sharpie. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you a picture of what yours probably looks like now. I know this is really light. It's all done in pencil, hence why I usually show you in Sharpie. But let's go ahead and start just outlining some things. And I'm going to show you a few different things we want to think about when we are using marker. Now, let's go ahead and start with the candy cane first because that's kind of our main subject. That's the star of the show today. So let's take out a red marker. So you can use whatever kind of markers you have. I have Crayola and Mr. Sketch markers. I'm going to use the Mr. Sketch markers because they smell nice. The green one of the green ones also smells like mint. So I think that will work perfect for our candy cane today. All right, starting with the red marker. I want you to decide which stripes are going to be red. If you want to follow along with me, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start right here, and this section is going to be red. Now, if you have more stripes than me, that's okay. Maybe you can just decide which stripes you want to be red and which stripes you want to be white. If you want to do a completely different 2 colors for your candy cane, that's fine too. I've actually seen some really interesting colored ones. So what you're going to do is first outline the area you want to be colored in, and then you're going to fill it in with long strokes. We want these strokes to be pretty neat today. Then you're going to skip 1 stripe and go to the next. So again, you start here, color it in, skip, go to the next one, and outline that. So again, you're filling in with your marker. Now the reason why we didn't do an outline in Sharpie is because we don't really want a very dark outline for this picture today. We want it to be very light and very sweet looking. And sometimes with a very dark outline, it can kind of weigh down our picture a little bit, which is fine. It's great. I really like that look. But today we want it to be just a lot lighter. Again, I'm skipping one and going into the next. I'm outlining first, trying to stay as neat as possible. And filling in, skip one, go to the next. And then I'm going to skip this one down here, and this last stripe right here is going to be red. And then on the very bottom, it will be the color white. Okay, that's all taken care of. Now we're going to go ahead and address the white. Now, we don't want to color in the white stripes if you're choosing to do a white and red candy cane, because then it won't look like that part is white anymore. So what we're going to do is I want you to find a light blue marker somewhere in your supplies. And I want us to very carefully use the tip of that marker, and all we're going to do is take this and outline those areas with the blue. I'm not going to outline on the inside, I'm only doing the outside lines. So very different from how we usually might use our marker. So we're only outlining the outsides of the white parts of the candy cane. So it looks something like this when you're done. Now that looks all fine and dandy, but we want it to have a little bit more dimension. So we're going to add just a teeny tiny bit of shading. So for this, you might want to find a gray marker of some kind. So some kind of gray marker. I don't have a gray Mr. Sketch marker, unfortunately, but I do have gray in Crayola. So I'm going to use this one. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this gray and we are going to add in some shading first on the inside of the hooked part of the candy cane, and then we're going to add some onto the right side. Don't really go on your bow just yet. We're going to do something a little different for that one, but our light source is going to be over here, so all of our shadows are going to be on the right sides of things. For the hook, it's a little tricky because some of it is being covered up. You'll see. So I'm going to take my gray, and very lightly and very carefully, I'm kind of going over the red and the white areas, and I'm adding in that shadow. Now it's really important that you're really looking and listening to your paper with your eyes and paying attention to see if your marker, if the ink that it's using is maybe a little too much for your paper to handle. You are able to layer markers when you're working with them, but sometimes our paper might say, oh my gosh, it's so much marker, I'm not quite sure I can take it. You'll know when your paper is starting to tear or flake a little bit when you see little spots or little flakes coming off of your paper. That means that maybe we should kind of let that spot rest and dry for a little bit before we start adding more marker. So you can see with our gray, it kind of keeps some of our red without blending it away. So that's kind of what you're going for when it comes to shading in the hooked part of the candy cane. Then we're going to go ahead and do the right side here. Now we're not going to do too much. You can just take your gray marker and you're almost just outlining the right side with the gray. Now again, be very careful. Make sure you're really looking at your paper and trying to see what is it trying to say. Is it good? Does it need to rest for a little bit? All right. So you can see just a very simple outline, nothing too much. But now it looks a little bit more three-dimensional. Kind of pops off the paper a little bit more. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill in our bow. So for the bow, I'm going to now use a light green. So this is the green that I'm going to be using, but you could really use whatever colors you want. Colors that we're sticking to for the majority of our daily draws is going to be red and green, of course, blue, black, and white. You can feel free to try out other colors. I know gold and silver are another really big two colors that we use during December for Christmas and the holidays. So just be mindful of those things and what colors are going to look nice together for our daily draws. Go ahead and take your light green marker, or whatever color you chose for your bow, and carefully first outline and use long strokes to fill in. Try not to scribble. Do this for all of the bow. Just try and stay as neat as possible. So here's one side, and then we'll go ahead and fill in the one over here. Again, totally all right if you want to do a different color. Just try your best. And of course, you don't need to try and rush to finish all of these steps at the same time as me. If you need to pause the video in order to just, feel comfortable going at your own pace, please do so. Okay. So after we're done with our light color that we chose for our bow, I want you to pick now a dark color that matches. So for example, if I use light green, now I want to use dark green. So if you used a light blue, maybe now you want to use a dark blue. So go ahead and take out that color. And what we're going to do with this is we are going to use the very tip of our marker. And I want you to outline all of these big shapes. Again, be very careful. Really see if your paper is able to handle layering the marker. So you can see I'm just outlining my bow, doing the sides, and then I will also outline those little folds, the fabric, and also the little extra ribbons that are coming down from the sides. All right, so once you have that all outlined, we can now kind of add a little bit of shading. So you can take your green marker or your dark color, whatever it is you're using, and you can add a little bit more onto the bottom of the bow on these little parts here. You can also add some to the bottom of the knot. You don't want to add too much. Think of it almost like you're just outlining a little bit more. You're kind of making that outline a little bit thicker. You can add a little bit to the insides of the folds here. You could even add a little bit right where those little ribbons kind of come out from. I'm almost doing this in like a rainbow. And if you find that, hey, maybe my line is too thin, you can of course experiment with different line widths. Just again, really pay attention to your paper to see like, hey, is this too much marker? Is it starting to flake a little bit? So just keep an eye out. All right, so the candy cane's all done. Now we can go ahead and start thinking about our background and maybe doing the number. So for the number, I think I want this to be green today. Now in the other videos, or in our other daily draws, we've been outlining them with Sharpie, but today you can have a lot of fun being super creative with how you want it to look. So I'm actually gonna take the same dark green we were just using, and I'm going to outline the box here with that dark green. And then I'll try and use the tip of the dark green to outline the number, and then maybe I'll fill in the inside with light green. And again, if you want to make this even fancier, go for it. I love seeing your creativity. All right. So that's all taken care of. Let's go ahead and work on our designs in our background. So you probably did something different. Maybe you added lots more detail. My background is pretty simple today. So if you don't finish at the same time as me, that's totally normal and very much okay. Just work on your picture as you go. Just go at your own pace. All right, so I've got my little swirls all filled in here, and I am done. All right, so go ahead and finish up your pictures. Again, add more details if you'd like. Just make sure that you're going at a pretty steady pace, no need to rush. And if you would like to share your daily draws with us, you can go onto our Febo Village Facebook page and you can comment your picture underneath today's daily draw. Thanks so much, you guys, for joining us for today's daily draw, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.